Welcome back, viewers, to the final race of the day here from Daytona Milton Keynes, where we're using both the cliff drop and bust up chicanes. You join us in this video for the feature race, and I'm going to hand over now to our commentators, Tom Dillon and myself, Luke Battersby.
Taking a look at our final race of the day's starting grid here from EKS round 5. James Brown is on the pole in the heavies, 6 points ahead of Matthew Boulton, who starts second. Tom Hind rounds out both the podium and the grid, down in third and on row 2. Row 1 for the lightweights then is Andrew McWilliam alongside JJ Hind. These two set for an enthralling battle heading into this feature race. Don Balasatis continuing his fantastic form in this round on row 2 alongside Jamie Sherman-Chase, Callum Bengelo and Ollie Smith, virtually inseparable on row 3. And Zach Titterton and Archie Bullard, both debutants on row 4. Dana Rohan and Jacob Ekuel, your top 10. Carlos Almanis starts on row 6 alongside Henry Barrington, with Hassan Ali and Stephen Corbin at the back of the grid.
No.
There's a light on.
The red flashing light?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's on.
Yeah, from both guys, stand up.
There we go then. Chat between James Brown and Matthew Boulton to start this race, but race 3 about to get underway. Matthew once again on that outside line as they go down into turn 1, as he will be starting in second position. You wouldn't think it right now as they get ready to form up and get underway for the final time here at Milton Keynes in round 5 of the EKS. We're ready to go green for our heavyweights. Green flag flies, and as they go down into turn 1, Matthew Boulton gets a very good start. Tom Hind trying to come alongside. Boulton's challenging for the lead as they go down into turn 1. Around the outside he goes, but James Brown is just about able to hold on to the position. Tom Hind sitting in pretty down in third position. The lightweights, they're getting ready to get underway. It is Andrew McWilliam and JJ Hind who are going to be challenging each other as we go down into turn 1. JJ's been on fine form, but a recovery drive in race 1 as we get underway. It's going to put him into second position. Down into turn 1 we go, and it's side by side in the background. I think that's one of our new drivers, but potentially Jacob Ekuel, who's being overtaken as we go into turn 3 now. There's a bit of contact between Jamie Sherman-Chase. He's going to let that driver through the 1-2-1 cart. Now Ollie Smith going on the inside line, trying to find himself up a spot. It's 3 wide for a brief moment. Ollie trying to attack Jamie Sherman-Chase as they apply the brakes now down into the right-hander. Will Ollie Smith be able to find his way through on that inside line? Edges himself through, however, he's overtaken himself. Ollie back down the inside, trying to hold on to this spot. Is, I believe, Luke Battersby going to just about get himself up a spot.
Just about head on to that there. Archie Bullard went up his inside going through turn number 6, but Archie is now back behind Ollie as Jacob Ekuel is going up the inside here of Jamie Sherman-Chase on lap 1, going down into the corner at the far end of the circuit. Jacob has now made his way past as Jamie's now side by side with Dana Rohan going through the bus stop chicane. Who is going to come out on top as we switch to Dana Rohan's on board? It's just about going to be Jamie who holds on to that position there as we see the drivers go through shot now. We've got Andrew McWilliam in the lead of the race ahead of JJ Hind. We've then got Don Balasatis just behind in third, with Callum Bengelo a close fourth.
JJ Hind trying to attack Andrew McWilliam. This is not only going to be for the feature race win, but the feature race, I should say, race 3, to be correct, but it's also for the win of the round overall. There's 2 points in between the two of them. So if JJ Hind is able to make this spot up, he is going to find himself up in the top step of the podium. He's under pressure this time, going to be from behind, and it's going to be from Don Balasatis. JJ just having to be a little bit careful here. He's able to get himself at least a cart length clear. Andrew definitely doing a bit of driving in his mirrors though.
JJ on a really good drive here, keeping up with Andrew. Andrew is our championship leader. JJ currently second in the championship, 9 points behind coming into this round. Is he going to go for a move here, going into the bus stop chicane? He's looking up the inside, but Andrew, he realises it, leaves space for JJ, gets a good exit. Don Balasatis now is on the back of JJ Hind, going up this back straight. He's got Callum Bengelo as well, right behind. Are they going to go for the move into the penultimate hairpin? Not quite, as I think Callum Bengelo just locked up slightly there, going into that hairpin. Meanwhile, down the bottom of the shot, Archie Bullard is up the inside of Carlos Almanis as they come into the final corner. Carlos on the inside now. I think, he's got the move done there. Archie Bullard around the outside. I thought Carlos was going to hold on to that then, but Archie Bullard now has managed to make his way past as JJ Hind's looking all over the back of Andrew McWilliam here. Not quite able to make his way past though.
Having to bide his time in order to try and find this move, and it's not going to be one that comes easily to JJ Hind. Here's Matthew Boulton looking at that heavyweight lead, 0.2 of a second when they cross the line, and Matthew will fancy his chances of getting past James Brown as a matter of urgency. All about that exit out the final corner, I think, here on this layout of Milton Keynes. Certainly one of your best overtaking opportunities. Matthew Boulton out of that final corner is indeed going to get a run. Is it going to be enough as we go through turn one? The slipstream somewhat powerful in these D-Max karts, but it's not powerful enough for Matthew Boulton at this stage in proceedings. Will now go to the inside line of James Brown, though. Catches James Brown a little bit unawares. There's some contact between the two of them, and Matthew Boulton just gets that kart out of the rev range, allowing James Brown to hold on to the lead of the race. This is playing into the hands of Tom Andrew, who's 2.5 seconds back. Matthew back down the inside, trying to find himself ahead. This time he's well within the rev range, but on the outside line. This time we'll look for the cutback as they go through there. Switching back to JJ Hind and Andrew McWilliam. These two continuing the battle, and JJ Hind will look to the outside line. Now he wants a cutback on Andrew McWilliam. Will have the outside line for the next left-hander, and JJ slightly frustrated with that one as he's just not quite able to get the drive out the corner.
Dom Balasatis, meanwhile, is right behind the two of them. In third place, Dom on his debut here in the EKS, as Andrew's going defensive now into turn number 7. JJ not quite able to make his way past, getting the cutback, heading into the bus stop chicane, and I think JJ just realised that wasn't going to work there, just backed out of it. He was only going to end up in those tyres on the inside of the bus stop. So JJ tucking back in behind Andrew McWilliam. Like I say, Dom Balasatis is right behind. He's only 14 years old, but he is a regular here, like I say, at Milton Keynes in their D-Max karts, so he does know what he's doing as they come out of this bus stop chicane. And oh, that's a move there by Callum Bendelo. What happened there? Dom Balasatis looks like he just got a poor exit there out of the bus stop, and Callum now is up into P3.
Callum Bendelo having a quietly very, very good round here in EKS. You'd have to check the statistics, but I believe it would be one of his best of the season. Dom Balasatis as well, actually having a very good round on his debut in the series. But this is both the championship battle and the battle for the overall win of the round. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, it is done by our points across the 3 races rather than who wins this longer feature race. JJ will try and get himself out of that fight, out of that hairpin here, and try and attack Andrew McWilliam. When he looks to the inside line, he won't. Andrew is once again holding on to this position with somewhat ease. Will JJ find his way down the inside? He won't. He certainly thought about it for a moment. They've formed a little bit of a breakaway pack because Bendelo and Dom Balasatis, they're just behind Luke. However, they've gained about a second to them, I believe.
Yeah, they're doing really, really well here, these two. They're working together to get off into the distance. Andrew is defending a little bit, but not defending too hard. As now coming out of the bus stop chicane, it looks like JJ's got a run on Andrew here as they head down the back straight. Is JJ going to be able to hang it around the outside? Not quite. Not quite able to go for the move. Had he been able to hang it around the outside of that left-hander there, that would have given him the inside for the penultimate corner, but wasn't quite able to keep the overlap. As well, Callum Bendelo, he's not far behind at all here. I think he's only about a second off the lead. This would be a best ever result for Callum Bendelo. I don't believe he's finished in the top 3 before now. Callum's an ever-present series regular as we now head in to turn number 4. JJ not thinking of going for the move yet, just staying behind for the time being. As Andrew's looking over his shoulder, he's got JJ Hind all over the back of him. These two, the best drivers probably in the EKS. They are our 2 dominant championship drivers. They are a long way ahead of everybody else in the standings. And yeah, doing a really, really good job here. JJ still right on the back of Andrew McWilliam. Absolutely zero contact being made as well. This is squeaky clean. So we've just got a back marker up ahead. I believe that's Hassan Ali, who these guys are just catching up to. JJ not quite close enough to go for the move there, not really a heavy braking zone there, but yeah, it's got a bit of an undercut here, coming out of the corner down the far end of the circuit, going through the bus stop. Can he get a better exit out of here like he did on the previous lap? Not quite able to, as Andrew's going defensive. Is he going to be able to hold on to the lead here as they head down to the penultimate corner once more? Meanwhile, we're up in the top right hand corner, we've got James Brown battling with Matthew Boulton for the lead of the heavyweight race. We've got 2 battles going on at once here. Looks like both have managed to hold on to the lead for the time being.
Just 7 minutes to go as well. James Brown is under a lot of pressure from Matthew Boulton, who's on the outside line. James is going to hold on to the position for the time being. He makes a slight mistake out of the corner. That allows Matthew Boulton to help himself to the lead of the heavyweight race as JJ Hind almost simultaneously goes down the inside of Andrew McWilliam. Andrew will get the better drive out of the corner. JJ Hind not quite able to find his way through. Now goes the inside line, jumps over the curb. another thing that'll start to grate on JJ Hind, who's really not able to find a way through. James Brown is losing time to Matthew Boulton, who seems to have checked out in the latter stages of this lap with 6 minutes and a half to go. Ollie Smith trying to attack Carlos Almanis. JJ Hind now still looking at Andrew McWilliam. He's got to find a way through. He knows that Andrew can't be driving in his mirrors for that long. Will JJ do what Ollie did in the previous race? He won't. He's more sensible this time into the bus stop chicane. Andrew, though, not going to get the drive out of the corner. Fantastic opportunity for JJ Hind, especially with Andrew going onto the grass. JJ wants this down the inside into that hairpin, but Andrew just holds on to the spot. JJ now back on the switchback. Didn't see that one coming. I don't think Andrew did either on the outside line as they head into turn 23. JJ Hind with a drive out of turn 23 into turn 1, but Andrew McWilliam somehow is doing a remarkable defensive job.
Now heading down into turn number 4, Andrew going defensive. I think Andrew went a little bit wide going through the penultimate corner on the previous lap, and that's how JJ got the overlap. He's got another overlap here, now on the outside for turn number 5. Can he get the cutback here as they come out of turn number 5? JJ taken to the curb on the inside, but he is alongside now, heading down into turn 6. Who is going to come out on top? I think it is going to be JJ as he looks to his left now, turning into turn number 7. Is Andrew still there? No, he is not. So JJ Hind has finally managed to make his way back into the lead of the race with Callum Bendolo now on the inside of Dom Balasatis as they head through the bus stop, or the cliff top chicane, sorry. I think Dom's just managed to get his way back into 3rd position. So great race in there as we're now on board with Ollie Smith. He's at the back of this really large train of karts, all battling out for 1st place. Now Ollie getting the run out of the bus stop chicane. He's got Zach Tisterton right in front of him. Can he manage to make his way past? Looks like in the distance there, Dom Balasatis is up the inside of Andrew McWilliam. So I think we've got a battle for 2nd going on here, just in the top of shot. Unfortunately, none of the drivers in front have footage, but yeah, Andrew going defensive now into the final corner. Looks like he's managed to hold on to 2nd position, whilst Callum Bendolo is also now looking at the inside of Dom Balasatis. So we've got a big old fight going on here for P2.
What's that? 5 karts all going for it. Benslow up the inside. Ollie Smith going to get the cutback, and Ollie Smith might find his way through. He won't. He's not getting the drive out of that corner in order to be able to make the move with 4 minutes to go. This 2nd spot is up for grabs. The entire podium is as well. Ollie, though, doesn't seem to quite have the straight line speed or the drive out of the corners really to match. I wouldn't necessarily think that it's his straight line speed so much as it is his drive out of those corners, but Ollie obviously having a little bit of a difficult time of it at the moment with Zach Tisterton just ahead of him. Will he find his way up the inside here? Oh no, he's going to spin. It's a total spin for Ollie Smith. Almost collects Dana Rohan. He knew what he was doing there, but it was a slightly hairy moment, and that's a rare mistake from Ollie Smith. I believe the first time he spun this season, certainly the first time I've seen him spin, and JJ Hind is almost doing no better.
JJ Hind's just gone in deep then into that penultimate corner. I think he might have got a bit too heavy on the brakes as Dom Balasatis going around the outside of Andrew McWilliam now. Going through the final corner. Dom's not quite able to make his way past. Now got Callum Bendolo on his inside as they head through turn 1. And I think Dom has just about managed to hold on to 3rd position there. Unfortunately, we've got no drone footage at the moment. It's just had to land as there is a glitch. So unfortunately, we can't see that battle from the sky. But look, going across the line there, Dom was a 10th ahead of Callum Bendolo. So I think he has managed to hold on to P3. So now looking at the heavyweights, you can just see there we had Matthew Boulton up ahead of James Brown. He's increased the gap now to 1.6 seconds. So Matthew doing a really good job here in this race. It's a track he's not very familiar with, whereas James is a regular here at MK. So yeah, Matthew doing a really, really good job indeed, as we're now watching Jamie Shimon chase up ahead of Dana Rohan. These two just behind Jacob Eckrow as they now make their way through this corner at the far end of the circuit. Andrew has just about managed to hold on to 2nd place for the time being, ahead of Dom Balasatis and Callum Bendolo. But how long will it last for?
Dana Rohan is going to try and get the drive out of this corner, goes into the ducking position to try and get that little bit of extra straight line speed, and it might just work. However, loses a lot of time into the corner. Now on the brakes, almost comes into the back of Jamie Sherman Chase. I think he did ever so slightly there. You can see them at the back of your picture heading through turn 23. Now, as we've scored it here in EKS, that final corner being turn 23, technically at turn 24, King just out of it. This is that heavyweight battle once again. 2.3 seconds. Matthew Boulton controlling this race for the time being with just the 2 minutes to go. Too sure what lap times these guys are doing. Luke, I know you have that up on your screen. However, I believe there should be 2 laps to go once they come round and get to the line.
Yeah, Matthew's sending really good lap times here. He's just down in the low 113s at the moment. And yeah, managing to pull that gap to James Brown, as we now see Dana Rohan right on the back of Jamie Shimon Chase. These two battling out for 9th place in the lightweight class. Dana not quite able to get past at the moment, as we see this group battling for second come through shot. Looks like Zach Titton has been dropped slightly from that group, and he's now actually got Archie Bullard going up his inside as they make their way through the Bustard chicane. Archie Bullard now up into, I believe that is 6th place in the lightweight class. Now Jacob Eckwall all over the back of Zach Titton. Can he also make his way past as they head now down to the penultimate corner on the circuit? He is not quite able to go for the move as Zach Titton's now got the undercut on Archie Bullard, but he's just tucked back in as Andrew McWilliam. He's still got Don Balasatis and Callum Mendelo right behind him. Looks like Carlos is not quite able to keep up with him now. I think the gap to Carlos is now half a second between him, Carlos, and Callum in front, as we now make our way now down to turn number 4. Zach going defensive against Jacob Eckwall. Jacob now getting the undercut out of the corner. Is he able to get the move done here? I don't think he is. Hasn't quite got the run out of the corner. Can he get the exit out of turn 5? Not quite. So Archie Bullard for the time being is holding on to P6 with Zach in 7th and Jacob Eckwall 8th in class.
Just 30 seconds to go. Will be interesting to see whether James Brown is going to take the checkered flag this time by, or if we're going to have to wait one more lap. I'm not too sure. We see on the outside line trying to get past Stephen Corbin there, I believe that is, who's one of the back markers. Jacob having a little bit of a difficult time of that. Eventually does get through, but that's going to take him out of that battle for the time being. Dana then perhaps one more roll of the dice to try and get past Jamie Sherman Chase. May squeeze another lap in, depends on the pace of the leaders. We're going to hit the 0 second mark, so next time the leaders cross the line is going to be the final lap of the race. That won't be, however, this time by. White flag is going to be out, so as we see back onto our drone pictures, we start the final lap of this race.
So yeah, Matthew Boulton has increased his gap now out in the lead of the race to 3.4 seconds ahead of James Brown. Meanwhile, JJ Hind is setting some phenomenal lap times at the moment. He's just at a 1 minute 12.0. That is more than half a second quicker than anybody else out on track. And he's now increased his lead to Andrew McWilliam to nearly 5 seconds. So superb driving here from JJ Hind. We saw he had the pace early on in the race, and now he's been unleashed and he's been able to set some phenomenal lap times.
James Brown pretty much knowing that it's all over, and Matthew Boulton rounds that final corner to take the checker flag in rather cocky style. Matthew Boulton coasting across the line. It's a fantastic return to the top step for him. James Brown will win the round, I believe, with his 2 race 1 and race 2 victories. So Matthew Boulton is getting himself a win at least at some point in this race. We're now just waiting to see as this stacks up. JJ Hind out of the final corner. He's going to win the round as well. What a performance from him. His signature celebration across the line as well. Andrew McWilliam will hold on to Don Balasatis for second position. Bengelo's going to drag race for the line. Bengelo has it for 4th position, just ahead of Carlos Almanis. That's a bit of an interesting battle towards the end of that race. And well, as we coast back into the pits, that's been a thoroughly entertaining afternoon of racing from Milton Keynes.
Here are your results then from the feature race. So Matthew Boulton ended up taking the victory in the heavyweight class by nearly 3 seconds ahead of James Brown, with Tom Angier then only another 3 seconds back in P3. JJ Hind ended up taking a dominant victory in the lightweight class, nearly 6 seconds ahead of Andrew McWilliam, who managed to hold on to second place ahead of Don Balasatis, with Callum Mendelo and Carlos Almanis then drag racing to the line. Callum ended up taking P4 by less than half a tenth. Archie Bullard meanwhile came home in a very impressive P6 ahead of Zach Titterton and Jacob Eckwall, with Jamie Shimon Chase and Dana Rohan then running out the top 10. Ollie Smith had the spin towards the end of that race and so came home in P11 ahead of Henry Barrington, who was in 12th, and then Stephen Corbin and Hassan Ali round out the grid. Let's hand now down to myself in the pit lane, where I've got James Brown and Carlos Almanis. I'm here with James Brown, who did fantastically well in those first 2 races. Got a bit unlucky in the feature race, but yeah, great drive today.
Oh, thank you, Luke. Yeah, it's a bit of a repeat of last time, really. It wasn't the first 2 heats, and then the final, young Matt just come through. Couldn't really stop him, but yeah, good driving from him today.
Yeah, great stuff. Well done.
Thank you, Luke.
I'm here with Carlos Almanis. That was a fantastic drive in that feature, and I think you went from 11th to 5th. Great stuff.
Well, thank you. It was kept it clean start and managed to kind of chase down the cart in the front, one after another. Tried to keep it clean, which is quite good, not having pressure from back because there was other battles going on. So kind of probably fell asleep a little bit once I caught P4.
And how did you find the track here today? I think this is your first time here.
Yes, well, I did the 24-hour back in 2016 in Saudis. Did a practice yesterday in D-Maxis on International, but this is probably my favorite layout. Definitely added a bit of good features to the track. So,
yeah, and you did fantastically well around it. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
So let's take a look at the overall results from EKS round 5. Milton Keynes cliff drop and bus stop chicane layout. James Brown is victorious in the heavyweights. Matthew Boulton just behind him by only 3 points. Tom Anger a little bit of a ways back down in third. JJ Hind, well, he turns dominance into victory in the lightweights, only just ahead of Andrew McWilliam by a single point. Their last race battle, absolutely enthralling to watch. Don Balasatis, well, he makes a fantastic account of himself in the EKS down in third. Callum Bengelo and Jamie Sherman-Chase rounding out the top 5. Ollie Smith is ahead of Zach Titterton, who debuts in 7th. Archie Bullard, only been karting for 6 months, is up in 8th. Then it's Carlos Almanis and Jacob Eguel rounding out the top 10. Down the row had Henry Barrington, Stephen Corbin and Hassan Ali round out the grid. Taking a look at the championship standings then, considering drop rounds in the equation, James Brown is making up fantastic progress in our heavyweights, cutting that gap to Matthew Boulton, your leader, down to just 12 points. Tom Angier, obviously the only other heavyweight at the round. He increases his gap to Dane Christensen in third, Dane in fourth, just ahead of Matt Butland. The rest of our heavyweights, of course, not present at this particular round. The lightweights then creates a very interesting championship battle. Andrew McWilliam is currently ahead of JJ Hind, but JJ obviously making fantastic progress in this round with his overall victory. He'll be looking to cut that down even further and get ahead of Andrew McWilliam into our final couple of rounds of the season. Ollie Smith, bit of a quiet one, up in third, but he always seems to be getting those consistent results in, holding on to that spot. Jamie Sherman-Chase and Dylan Davis, the rest of the top 5, though it's important to keep an eye on Callum Bengelo, still chipping away down in 7th, looking for that top 3 spot.